All right. Hello and welcome back. Well, we welcome ourselves back as
Yes.
well. After an exciting round that we were watching, we're just away
Exciting
for a
lunch,
moment.
of course.
And an exciting lunch to basically enjoy the match with as well.
Yes.
I really hope for the Gerson win, but we did not see that. Slime
It
food
was
prevails.
swingy as hell.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
You're
That
right, absolutely.
Fury cleaning everything, and then
That was
the
a nice
Magus, and then the basic island out of
I
nowhere.
love that. I
Completely.
love that play. Just, I'm gonna play Magus. You can't play Gerson. Just casual island. I don't care. Gerson and
Gerson,
win.
kill.
Well, there was a scoop before the
Almost,
kill,
yeah.
but still. It was a nice
I would
match.
as well in the situation.
Yeah, absolutely
That was
crazy, absolutely crazy. But what we wanted to touch on before our next match
Yeah.
is the rest of the meta. We wanted to look into what kinds of decks can we see, and we did not really touch on all of them. We spoke a little about Slimefoot and Squee and Aragorn. But
the biggest
yeah,
players.
well, yeah, there is like a big representation, 100%. But we did not really touch on Atraxa.
Atraxa is the big one.
Absolutely.
Basically, the big, scary
The big bad.
control deck,
Yes.
more of a good stuff side.
Absolutely.
Full of, not only counter spells
Mm-hmm.
and ways to get into the Atraxa as well.
Yeah.
As there are many other threats in the deck you need to count with.
Atraxa, the Grand Unifier.
The newer
Yeah,
one.
the newer one.
This also has
This one
some
looks
play.
nice, but not as nice as
Also,
this
so
one.
play in the dual commander in the past, but nowadays
Mm-hmm.
it is turn of this card and
Yeah.
like final cherry on the cake for
Yeah.
this deck is the Curious Enchantment.
Dream Halls, yes.
And what crazy shenanigans it can.
Well, I was just
fun.
thinking about, do you really just cast the Dream Halls and then win? Sort of.
Yeah, no.
Yes and no.
Unlikely, the deck isn't really built on combo deck.
I'm not saying,
because
combo
If
win.
you would need a lot of pieces that
Yes,
doesn't
yeah.
belong in the
I know, I
general
know.
strategy of the deck.
Yeah.
But if you mean winning in a sense of gaining insurmountable card advantage,
That was my idea.
like getting so many cards, casting everything on
Yes.
the board, even something like bouncing Atraxa to hand, recasting her again, getting new 10 new cards out of the
Yes,
10
absolutely.
library, etc., etc.
They are really those two cards really work together fantastically. You can just cast Atraxa by discarding anything, basically, because it shares colors with your whole deck.
Yes.
And then you get the ETB trigger from Atraxa, you get a whole set of new cards, and if you have a bounce spell, you can just continue the loop and just play with that, basically get rid of anything that your opponent has,
Yeah.
and then you just untap with a 7/7 lifelink, flying, vigilance, death touch. Just a great threat.
Not to be said, the Dream Halls, it's this good old enchantment that affects both players.
Yes,
So
it's true.
it's similarly to Aluren, for example, works both ways. But the fact that you are playing this huge haymaker in the
Yes.
command zone almost guarantees that you are always getting way more value,
You
way,
will-
way more mileage. out
You
of
will
the
benefit
card
much
rather than
more
your
than
opponent.
Slime Food or Felden. You will get more from
In a
this.
situation when you slam down Dream Halls with no mana and you attempt to cast Atraxa, your opponent can counter it.
Absolutely.
Because every counter spell in their hand is
Yeah.
a force of will. So
But- Mm-hmm.
this is a situation because if you cast your commander for more times, you still have to pay the commander tax.
Yes.
Not to be said, but still. The Atraxa can do all over it again
Exactly.
way more in the following turns. And as long as the Dream Halls is in play in Atraxa deck, it is really scary to play.
Yeah, it becomes super scary. And also remember, there's not a lot of enchantment removal in meta. Not a whole lot of it.
Not as much as a creature removal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, there's been a question about the number of rounds. There will be 7 rounds in the base stage.
So, for 3 more
3 more,
in
exactly.
the base set,
Yes.
and then we have the top 16.
Yeah, the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we will see from top 16 4 matches after we finish the base set of 7. And we will see the best of the best competing for prizes and for the championship title.
The most successful and hopefully the even crazier games that we already have.
Yeah, let's hope not for Temio Mirror. It might be the case.
It still can be exciting if you get
Yeah.
to big flashy plays, ultimates, back to back.
Absolutely, but still, it's an option. As we spoke about the meta and about the Traxa, how do you feel about the deck altogether? Do you like it or not?
The Atraxa, I also tried it sometimes, but I'm more of the side of preferring something else. The deck in its current version is a bit one-dimensional for my taste. It's
Okay.
Just a control deck that tries to survive until Dream Halls or until 7 mana and
Yeah.
then try to win the game.
It's also an option to just hardcast,
There
right?
is this advantage, for example, compared to Tivit, that Tivit is basically only control cards and then killing by general.
Yeah.
Atraxa still have some good stuff cards, Planeswalkers
That's
to
true.
cast in the meanwhile. So it is not so one-dimensional, but still I would much rather prefer to playing something that has better mileage or better like enjoyment
Yeah,
throughout
I
the whole
understand
game.
that.
And also, it's my opinion, but I think the Atraxa has an abysmal win rate against the Tamio.
That's true. That's true.
You have a control deck
Hmm.
that has a 7 mana commander versus a control deck that's a 1 mana commander.
Yeah, and remember, Temio is a card advantage on its own.
Yeah, and if Atraxa doesn't have early game removal, Tamio can come into play and surmount the card advantage. It is a very hard game to win
Yeah,
for Atraxa.
it would just run away with the game. But as for other, or do you have anything else you'd like to add to Atraxa, our beloved Dead Angel?
Not much. I don't even think it is that beloved.
Well,
How many are
maybe by
there?
the players of the Atraxa.
Because,
But we've
yeah.
seen a little bit of Gerson, which is an interesting deck. We also seen Yoshimaru. Well, not with Bruce Starl, which I'm a little sad about.
Yeah, but honestly, what's the difference exactly? How many cards between those two versions? I believe that I've played against Yoshimaru, and the player said I have only Minsk and Boo as
Yeah.
the only green card.
Yeah,
in the
it
deck.
makes sense. Maybe you could play like the new Ozolith from March of the Machine. Maybe it
Yeah.
like deals something with +1/+1 counters. Maybe sometimes some Grul legends, like 2 mana 3/3s do something. But it-
Hajar, for example,
for
that is,
example, right?
aggressive,
Yeah.
+1 to your
But still,
deck six.
Yoshimaru is the backbone of the deck. It's the main thing you play. And honestly, I do prefer to play it with Bruce Starl, because there is still a little option to choose not to play Yoshimaru.
Right.
There is basically just one deck on in the meta that I would choose to do this against.
It's Feldon.
It's Folded. Exactly, it's the red deck.
I remember playing Bruce as a commander
Mm-hmm.
back when partners were both legal in a sense that you
Ooh,
could play
my.
both of them.
Yeah.
And I remember the partner commanders were much frequently used.
Yeah.
It was way before the partner switch rule. Or commander switch
Yeah.
sorry, when you can switch your commander with same legal card from
Yes,
your deck.
yes.
And those partner decks have choose to cast preferably one of the partners against some strategies.
Yes.
And namely Bruce, and also if you recall Ikrashiriki,
Mm-hmm.
a 3/7 that if a creature you control hits your opponent, you gain life equal to the toughness. So you have 3/7 against a mono red that
Yeah.
hits your opponent. It has menace, I believe, as or trample or something,
Mm-hmm.
and you gain 7 life.
Which is crazy. It just
Yeah.
swings the game.
One of the partner options is sideboard basically.
Yeah.
Completely gives you incredible advantage in certain
Absolutely.
matchups.
100%. I do like the,
So,
the option. Yeah.
I believe, but in the case of a recent version of the deck,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
do you really prefer every single game to cast or save the commander cast for Bruce rather than Yoshimaru. If you have no turn 1 play, it might impact your overall tempo.
You're absolutely right. Like me, as a humble Yoshimaru Bruce style player myself, I do know that you can't really go for Bruce every single game against mono reds. You have to have a good enough hand to survive until the turn 4 mana to place Bruce. So, for example, you start with some Mother, so Mother of Runes, or you need a mom, basically. You need a mom. Without a mom is sad. Mother of Runes or Giver of Runes or Skrelv, the fake mom, stepmom as we call it.
Legendary mom.
Yeah. It's a legendary mom, but a little fakey. And if you have something like that, or like maybe, it can be like a 1-drop, just like Kithian or Legion's Landing, something like that.
Which you should have numerous ways of.
Yeah,
right?
there is a lot of
because,
options. Yeah.
In Yoshimaru, I recall that the best early game first turns when you have Yoshi and not a 2-drop or 3-drop, but multiple 1-drops.
Absolutely.
So you go incredibly wide and incredibly tall at the same time, especially if the always 1-drops, of course, are legendary.
100%. Yes.
Kiteon, as you said.
Not just 1-drops, my dear child, not just 1-drops, but the lands as well. Because
which we haven't
just crazy
seen in the first.
It was very unfortunate, but if you remember we will see Yoshimaru again to see the wording. It does not really care if the permanent is a land or not.
Yes.
Which means you're playing every single legendary land that makes sense. So even Hammerheim, which like the ability to put away a land walk, I think, is interesting. But you will never use it. You just play it as a mountain. But it's a legendary mountain that puts a +1/+1 counter on Yoshimaru when you play it.
Right, but basically it is a mountain.
Yeah,
right?
it just
doesn't have, besides the obvious Blood Moon,
Blue Moon, you mean?
Blue Moon, rather, interactions, doesn't have much weakness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than that, it doesn't stabilize your mana, so you can get stuck on multiple, one legendary, but not of all colors you would need.
It could happen, but honestly, you need to keep a land where you have at least one white mana to play Yoshimaru, so you are usually golden. You can stabilize with that. There is an interesting idea with Hall of Heliod's Generosity. Okay. What do you think? Would you play that? In Yoshimaru? What is your humble opinion?
Well, the colorless lands are pretty tricky because
they are.
They make your mulligans that much worse.
Absolutely.
But I believe there is some crazy shenanigans.
There are people who like to play them. I've seen some builds where people push them.
Oh, Caracas, I don't know.
Well, Caracas would have been beautiful. Okay, let's just...
Bouncing your own legendaries to
I would never abuse it. Please, rules committee, hear me out. I will never bounce my opponent's cards, only my own. Hear me out, please. Allow me to play Caracas in my Yoshimaru. I will only use it to protect my Yoshimaru. Nothing else. But yeah, like the colorless lands, you don't really play them because you have very hungry mana base.
Yeah.
Like the legendary creatures usually cost like 1 blue, one white, 1 red, and 1 general colorless mana.
And many of them like 2 colorless at once, like the 2 double colors.
Yeah.
The Anafenza, etc. Those cards.
That's right.
White,
and now we can see that every single new set brings something nice because we've got also those lands which are just fabulous with Yoshimaru. Because turn 1 you just play a land and you put in Yoshimaru. Turn 2, this one gets untapped, either Minas Tirith or Mines of Moria. It's legendary. You get a counter. It's just fabulous. Like every single new edition brings more and more legendary creatures. Yep. I think I'm getting to the point where I just don't know what to cut anymore. It's
the
quite common.
New Universe Beyond the Assassin's Creed set, which I have played against Yoshimaru that fully abused those cards for the first time, and I was Wait, they printed what?
Yeah,
How many legendary cards?
there is a
There
lot of them.
That was a set, like chock full of legendary
Yeah.
cards.
Absolutely.
Bunch of them for all different colors,
Mm-hmm.
and even the cheap ones. The Abrasmir, Cassandra,
Yeah.
that also brings the legendary equipment.
Yes, the
So-
Spear of Leonidas, like Cassandra and Spear of Leonidas are fantastic duo. Of course, you are running into the problem. What if you draw the spear?
Well, it's a legendary.
It's still a legendary enchantment, sorry, equipment, but
And it
you
is-
know it's good, still good enough.
Albeit it's very mana hungry. It's
Yeah.
free to cast, free to equip.
Through two to
If sorry, two,
two,
two.
but still.
It is pretty nice effects. Like
Yeah.
the strike, the free to legendary
Yeah.
creature token that creates, which puts another counter on
Yeah.
Yoshimaru.
And I just have to call out the Arbasmir because this card is probably the best thing that came to Yoshimaru recently. Because this works just like Yoshimaru, even with lands.
Yep.
Even lands trigger this one if it's legendary.
I see that it doesn't count tokens.
Well, yeah, it needs to be historic spells. So it needs to be an artifact, a legendary, or a saga.
But for example, when the Spear of Leonidas puts out the creature token, wouldn't count because it's
Yeah,
just
well,
no token.
you're right.
But
in
it
this,
is very slight
yeah.
situation.
You don't really care about this particular interaction, but you care about the fact that every single legendary gives you counter on your Yoshimaru and also a drain for one,
Yep.
which is very good against
It
aggressive
heals you.
decks, and it
Yep.
heals you. Yeah, sometimes against like Mono Red or
And even
Gerson or
legendary
something,
lands,
you need it. Yes, even the legendary lands.
And even Ursa Saga. Because
yes,
it
it
is
is a
mana.
saga.
That doesn't work with Yoshimaru, but it works with.
You do play it
Abrasmir.
in Yoshimaru because you really want to find Shadow Spear.
Well,
Or Lost Jite, that's also fun.
even if you dislike colorless lands for some reason, which I totally agree, Ursa Saga is the one you just cannot pass.
Honestly, the majority of decks do play Urza Saga. I think only maybe Felden, they don't really care about it, but the majority of decks do play. Some of them do. Some of the I've seen builds with and I've seen builds without the Saga, and honestly, the card is just too much.
Like as we talked before, Atraxa doesn't.
Yeah,
before because usually cannot play it and not lose the land.
That's right. They can't really afford to lose one land. But okay, apart from those specific cards,
combos.
those specific commanders, this land really proved to be like one of the, if not even the best lands in the format.
Yep,
Just
it
to-
definitely is a staple.
Yeah, absolute staple in the format. You're absolutely right with
And
that.
not only in dual commander but any other format that
Yes.
is legal on.
Yes, like it made modern into what it is now. Like a lot of decks play it. Even the Nadu was just a little better thanks to
Yeah, and
the Saga.
the Nadu deck was perhaps the only one that wanted to play this land on turn 1.
That's right.
Because turn 1, Ursa Saga, turn 2, anything, turn 3, float colorless,
Yeah.
cast Nadu, fetch for
Well,
Shuko,
ideally turn
and
to
go on.
Nantuko, right?
Yeah,
And
in
you
ideal
just
situation.
win. That's the ideal situation because you can't be stopped at the moment. All right, what else do we have here? What else can we see? We spoke about Gerson and about Yoshimaru. What about Grist, the Hunger Tide? What do you think about that?
Well,
Planeswalkers being commanders. We've seen that with Aminatu, but still.
yeah, Grist is one of the ones that have been slightly considered to be banned in some point. Very highly played and very highly
placed,
win
you
rate.
mean?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
very good
placed,
win rate, yes.
in the format. But since Slimefoot and Squee and other commanders came out, I think the Grist itself, especially in its archetype borders, it is probably one of those commanders that doesn't get much played anymore. We are about to see the round 5 players we are about to see Yoshimaru, but with blue, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. We spoke about it here.
Put it here, we
Blue
got-
Yoshimaru.
and Silas Ren.
Okay, that's
I
gonna be
believe it's,
interesting. I might get inspired. Why not? Now, the build is a little different because the majority of Yoshimaru builds use red. which is super common.
It is an aggressive color, provides you with bunch of burn spells, bunch of aggressive red creatures. But this build is more of a tempo.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah, we
Very
will see
interesting.
about that. And we will also see about the opponent. What's he bringing? Well, that's also Yoshimaru and Kraum.
Okay,
So we are going to see non-orthodox, I might say, builds on Yoshimaru. I'm not saying they are worse. I love them. It's the dog. I'm happy about that.
the Jeskai version is the one I am most inclined wanted to play because like maybe before all those sets printed new and new legendary lands, the legendary lands themselves are very powerful in the
Yeah,
deck.
absolutely.
And the more colors you have, the more legendary lands you can play, right?
It's true. That also adds the consistency for the green version, let's say with Timna, sorry, and you can really get more of those legendary things out.
Especially in green version, there is maybe Yarima.
Yeah, you can play Yavimaya, right?
They have a huge utility outside of just being
Just legendary, right? You can play like the Shire, for example. Why not? Which is also like the legendary style from
the Shire.
Yeah, but still, we will see a lot of interesting things here. Well, we will see on one side 3 colors, on other side 3 colors as well. Both of them share white and blue, which is
Difference
not.
is red.
Yeah, difference is red and black, and we are gonna see some interesting gameplay.
The both players have 4-0 or what score? Do we know?
We don't really know about the score. I think it should be around 4-0 or 3-1 at worst.
So we have definitely contenders for top 16.
Absolutely,
right here.
absolutely. We have people who are fighting to be the best, fighting to get to the top. Now, I'm not sure. I think that Jakub on left will probably start. Seems like it.
Martin or
I think Jakub
Jakub,
will
okay.
start. If I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen the results of the throws.
well, the starting player has a huge advantage. right?
Absolutely. In this matchup, it's absolutely a big advantage to start because turn 1 Yoshimaru, turn 2 legendary land and legendary creature, 3-3 Yoshimaru.
Well, and if your opponent plays Yoshimaru on turn 1 and you on turn 2 have an interaction and your own Yoshimaru,
It's true.
even in this situation, you are still kind of bit behind.
A little bit, but still, if you manage to answer Yoshimaru quickly, ideally turn 1, it can be a huge swing.
It is force of negation or
I'm not-
Rona?
I'm not 100% sure.
I see. I know.
We will see. Yeah, the glare does not really help. I hope also that we will see a lot of legendary lands, and we see on the side of Jakub
Huge surprise
a huge surprise. Turn 1 Yoshimaru. We will see a lot of that
from
today.
cool basic planes.
Basic plays is fine.
Setting up for those blue and red blood.
That's right. That's true. And also, the first land is actually better if it's not legendary because you're
Because
not
you
wasting.
want to save the legendary lands
Exactly.
for further.
You want to save the
They usually
legendaries.
come into or
Some of them.
The Lord of the Rings they come into play up. So
Yeah. The Lord of the Rings have restrictions. You need to have legendary creature, so you need Yoshimaru out.
yeah.
Okay, so there is a fetch coming up and a pass, I presume, or at least it looked like it. Okay,
Okay, so
just a
no
fetch and
Yoshimaru.
pass.
No,
No,
I wanna play differently.
could be.
Nothing. Oh no. We
Ah,
got
there's
it.
just the dog. Okay,
And-
doggos on both sides.
Yep.
Lovely to see.
The first turn we have that's pretty obvious.
Okay, now survey lands. We
So
can
now
see
legendary land.
they are not legendary and they are also quite slow. Now it's an interesting choice. I'm just going
Swords
against
to
that.
Plowshare.
Swords to Plowshare. So
Setting
Jakub,
even further behind. in the
that's right.
situation.
And as
It
an
was Force of
answer,
Negation.
force of negation.
Pitching
Fantastic.
Stifle, I believe.
I think yeah, it looks like Stifle. You're absolutely right. So the dogs are going to live, and there will be no attacks.
Martin losing the card. Yeah, Jakub not really want to trade. which
That's
would be
right.
funny.
It would have been funny, absolutely. But now I think Martin has the option to grow absolutely
Legendary land.
legendary lands.
Check 1. Now some legendary card perhaps?
We will see.
Some big creature? Nope.
So it's the legendary land that can give fear to a creature, I believe.
Honestly, this deck being played, having counter spells and just putting in play Yoshimaru turn 1 and just growing him with the legendary lands,
Yeah.
it might be also a fair play.
And don't forget, you have all counter spells and also basically a lot of interaction in black, right? You can have discard spells, you can have kill spells as well. There's a lot of options. You're not limited just to Swords to Plowshare and Solitude.
Yep, exactly.
So there's a lot of options. There is Plateau on the side of Jakub.
Another not legendary land.
Non-legendary
Sunday.
land.
Yoshimaru is still sad 1/1.
Yeah, just a sad 1/1, but I think our good
It's
boy
about
will
to grow.
He's
Yeah.
gonna grow.
Or not.
Or not. A
There's
lot of
attempt
fighting.
Number
2. Okay, and it was successful.
Of
Now,
interaction.
Yoshimaru going to graveyard, I must say.
That is interesting.
That is very interesting choice. So we might expect some reanimation.
There is
A card.
Goro, I think.
It
the red
looks
red Kamigawa
yes.
goblin.
Yeah, it's the red Kamigawa
Samurai,
goblin that can give haste to others.
You know the card,
Yeah,
right?
Goro.
And
right.
can eventually create those dragon
You can create
tokens.
yes, you can create
Yep,
dragons
that's
if
it.
you get that's right. It's just an alternative art. It gives a counter. The nice thing about Goro is the fact that you can give everything haste,
Yep.
which is
So
very cool.
It's basically either 2 mana 2/2 or 3 mana 2/2 with haste.
Absolutely.
And swing everything,
Yeah.
including each other card that came into play that turn.
Yes.
So,
And if you
the-
go to long enough
Yep.
game, you can do the 5 mana make a dragon, which
And you
makes the
need
card quite scary.
And like coincidentally, all you need for the ability to work is a modified creature.
Attacking
which-
modified creature. What
Yeah.
what could that be? Which one?
That's exactly as I
I
wanted.
can't really see any on the... there is the good boy. Yes,
Yeah.
you've got the commander
A
right there.
very coincidental situation here.
Yeah, there is Island on the side of Martin in 3 mana. Now we will see what was his original plan with putting Yoshimaru in the bin.
Needs something to.
There is the Fairy Timer Revelers, so we will see what will be done with that. Going down and bouncing Yoshimaru. So
Like
basically,
fighting for the tempo.
fighting for the tempo, but
Buying
giving
time.
up. Yes, exactly. He's buying time, but giving up any resemblance of board presence, as the Teferi will just be destroyed.
Yes, most likely, unless there's some another shenanigans.
Might be Solitude for well.
The
we
bouncing
can't play
Yoshimaru-
Solitude. We can.
The bouncing Yoshimaru feels bad. It resets the counters, it slows it down and saves lots of damage. But
It's
other than
true.
that, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't provide card advantage.
That's
You
right.
can very easily repay him. Another non-legendary land.
And also, it was only one counter. Let's remember that it was not a big 5/5 6/6 Yoshimaru.
Not many value was lost.
Yeah, that's right. I think that Jakub is not super sad about this trade. Also, remember the Goro can easily give haste to anything that comes to play right now.
So, was there better play to bounce the Goro maybe?
Hard to say. Hard to say. I would have probably gone for that, but
Tough situation, but we
yeah,
don't know the
it
Martin
is.
hand.
Yeah, we don't know
what
the hand, we don't know the situation.
played.
And there is
Adeline.
Adeline. That's a
Adeline.
fantastic card to be had. Because Adeline will grow Yoshimaru by 1 and also provide fresh 1/1s every single time he
Well,
attacks.
unfortunately, there is no haste. That would be insane.
With haste, it would have been nice, but I presume the 1/1 will just kill.
Arrive shortly.
Yeah, it will arrive shortly on the board and will kill Teferi, and then Martin will just take 2 to face by the Goro. Now, next turn,
Adeline grows in power,
She grows
has
quite-
vigilance,
yes.
and whenever you attack, and with everything else, not just her, you get
Yeah.
attacking one counter.
so next turn she's gonna be basically a 5/4, maybe even bigger. And remember, still there is the option to activate Goro for the haste ability. So we
Yep.
could be looking at a lot of damage coming Martin's way.
Took care of the Teferi, but Martin was at 15 life as before. Here we see.
There is the reanimate. It was kind of expected. I'm not really
1 mana for
sure.
1 mana.
I'm not
That's
really
valid.
sure about the life total. Maybe there was a mistake with the stacking, but Martin should have been down by 2.
And this is...
This looks like Pippin, maybe. Yeah, it is Pippin. That's the steward of Gondor, I believe.
one of the better.
It's a new mom.
legendary cards.
He's a mom.
Yeah, and
He doesn't know it, but he's a mom.
he's pretty good mom.
Yeah, Pippin is a very good mom. He's a 2/2 ward 1, I believe, and vigilance as well, and he can give like protection from a card type.
Yeah,
Pippin.
not to
Yeah,
say he cannot protect
Yeah.
himself. He has ward though, so
He is ward 1 at least, and there is Fleisch coming in.
taking care of
Yeah,
this.
taking care of Pippin, so no protection coming there, and also growing Yoshimaru still.
The situation looks increasingly dire for Martin.
Absolutely. And now remember, Adeline, another token, and
huge
Adeline
power
is just
coming
just a beast.
If
She's
not,
got
are
5.
we in the champ with Yoshimaru territory?
Might be. Yeah, that is actually going to happen. Martin is jumping with Yoshimaru, which means he'll be taking only 7 points of damage from Yoshimaru, Goro, and the
We have
2
20
human tokens.
to 6 now. Martin is fully in defense.
Yeah, and now you can see the power of starting
Yeah.
in this kind of matchup.
Not that much because the Yoshimaru didn't grow that far.
You're
Just
right.
only 3 legendary cards in total.
You're right.
But I think what made the situation as it is that Jakub forced Martin to play fully on defensive.
Absolutely.
Had 2 removal spells for
Yes,
the Yoshimaru,
yes.
so it like denied him like the growing snowball potential
Yes,
completely.
you're absolutely right.
Now finally beginning with the Adeline finally starting to get some really good board presence.
Yeah, like I believe that there might be some options for Martin still. We've seen the Wrath of the Skies, but there is the scoop coming from Martin and Yoshimaru Silas.
I don't think those decks. I don't think
You don't really
I don't
want to
know
play that.
The Martin's deck.
We can
It
check the
has
deck list, but I don't
some
believe you want to
good
play
cards. I don't know if he runs, for example, balance. That would like reset the board and give him. We haven't seen that card yet.
that. Balance is
right?
not present in this deck list. And
Yeah,
let me
kind of
see.
makes sense because
And the Wrath of the Skies also not. I understand the choices to not be present.
that would be crazy.
It would be crazy.
Wrath of the Skies, like saving the day once again.
Yeah, but you understand why you don't want to play that because those are both aggressive decks.
Yep.
So you want to focus on the aggressive
Shooting your own
strategy.
foot. Yep. You don't just want to not cast anything, thinking you wanna board wipe your opponent and then start casting those spells because that would be too late.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like you don't really want to give up like consistency, or you don't want to really give up the speed
Yeah.
of the whole deck for some very special situation where the rev would be just fantastic.
Yeah.
You really want to be consistent and just go
Because-
for it.
That what your deck is trying to do, the Wrath is most likely a dead card in your hand.
Yeah,
most of the
absolutely.
So now I'm really curious what Martin's deck is
We-
gonna show.
We will see
We had
game
some-
2 and start from Martin now.
Yep. We get some really powerful legendary cards like Teferi and Pippin, but so far in between, and other than some counter magic, he didn't really show that much.
That's right. I think that it was also prompts to Jakub. He managed to deal with basically everything that
Yeah.
Martin put his
Not
way.
only 2 removal spells, the second one finally stick
Yeah.
to the Yoshimaru
Yeah.
himself, but also the third to deal with Pippin and deal with final
Absolutely,
blow
absolutely.
by the attack.
And also adding pressure, like Adeline, for example, or the Goro. So he was just able to put in more and more pressure and still answering Martin's threats, which resulted in quite a clean victory on Jacob's part. No.
With all those alternative arts.
Yeah, there is a lot of alternative arts. I see a lot of lands in Martin's hand, honestly.
Mostly knowing cards by the art.
Yeah, there is
pretty rough.
mainly a lot of lands, and he's choosing to
Too much
mulligan.
to-
I think I've seen like 4 or 5 lands in that hand.
And you don't want to do that.
Yeah, maybe there was a Duress,
Go
I think so, or Dark Ritual or Duress, one of these.
Duress would make more sense than
Dark
Dark
Rituals
Ritual.
would make more sense.
And Jakub is mulliganing as well? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so both players go. Martin is slight tougher mulligan
Yeah,
to play.
yeah.
But let's see how well can he bank on the
Yeah.
advantage of going first.
That's right. Both players will start on 6, which basically means no big disadvantage for both of them. Although it's a bit tougher on play to go down because you don't really have the access to extra cards right away.
On the other hand, you get a second chance for having a really good
Yeah.
opener.
Absolutely.
So, that can snowball and not have opponent
Yeah,
much
you
chance.
you
to-
really want to get like a strong start. Yeah, absolutely. And if you manage in Yoshimaru style decks, if you really manage like a strong hand right at the start, you can just destroy your opponent very swiftly. Although I believe that Martin's deck is trying to be more interactive.
But yeah, more control, which
Yeah.
I don't know how well it will do on play.
It's an interesting choice nonetheless, because you're harnessing the tempo and the strength of Yoshimaru and you support
he
it with
went,
interaction.
He went until then pretty far, right?
Right. I'm still looking forward to that. So we have both players at 20 life, and now we will see the starts, which might be land Yoshimaru, which is quite common.
Jakub, yes.
There is just resolving mulligans on Jakub's side as well. So both players kept 6. Land Yoshimaru,
Usual,
and
yes.
just the usual. Nothing crazy here.
Also,
Looks like Command Tower and Yoshimaru quite easy and quite
as
simple.
the other game. This
Yeah.
is where we gonna
Now
start.
City of Brass, so there will be damage and Bowmasters.
Not legendary.
That's not legendary, but still good enough. It's a nice
Very
tempo play. Very nice tempo play.
Yeah, and when you are on play in this matchup, you have a chance to catch it on just one toughness. So
Yeah,
you can kill
absolutely,
it with the Masters.
absolutely.
You have 3 buddies on the board. Your Yoshimaru is 1-1, but you don't care too much at that point.
Right, and-
You have really slowed your opponent down, and you are
100%.
definitely in the driving seat.
And also remember, because he chose to play Yoshimaru, he can't really play the other thing. Now this looks like Talia, Guardian of Traben.
Yes, I can
Which
see
is
that.
a nice blocker with first strike, and also it might tax Martin's attempts to use interaction.
He seems to have some non-creature spells. Right?
Now Tokenuma coming from Martin.
A legendary land
Legendary
that usually
land.
doesn't grow Yoshimaru because that's not
That's not the
usual one.
colors,
Yes.
but it does work here.
Yeah. So let's see what we gonna get here.
Now we will see, like, the City of Brass will cost some life, but I think that Martin is prepared for that. There is
Pippin
Pippin once again.
Not caring at all about
good
the
mom.
ducks.
He's not really caring. And now Yoshimaru is big enough so he can freely attack, and
Yeah,
Talia
and
can't really block him.
The
so
board is getting developed to the position that Jakub don't know if can handle much more.
Right, and it's just one spot removal away from getting swung on by a lot of creatures.
If you cast here Yoshimaru recast for free, you are just stumped your whole turn for
yeah.
a 1-1, and if you don't, you are losing
Yeah.
very substantial advantage. of
You're absolutely
steamrolling
right.
the
You're absolutely right. But I believe he will just choose to play a 3-drop from his hand, which is quite common in these decks. I don't really think he
Have
can
an idea?
afford.
What can it
We
be?
haven't seen, but there is usually some. Like we've seen Adeline last game. There can be Brimas, for example. Fleisch we've seen.
Second Talia.
So, yeah, like the bigger Talia it could be as well. Also, we could see Initiative, though I'm not sure if he would like to play that. There is-
Initiative would stink in this
Initiative would
situation,
not be the
kinda.
best play in this situation.
Yeah, because you got Pippin, you can attack free
He will just lose it, right? But I think like Big Talia
and
could be
not
nice.
get it afterwards.
Yeah, but
anymore.
also Brimas. We are going to see a 3-drop.
Yeah.
Maybe we are going to see a 3-drop. We'll
Yeah,
see.
You are the Yoshimaru specialty here. So.
Yeah. I can't see into Jakub's hand or head.
Yeah, but
9-1.
Yoshimaru is just so weak overplay here, so that I believe Jakub will choose otherwise.
Yeah, like I would never probably go for it. And if I would have to, Slice of Ghostfire. Now that's a nice new tech.
Already paid
I
for the
absolutely
war.
love.
Used,
He did not.
Floaterland.
He did not. He had to pay for Talia. because it costs one more.
Okay. Or,
So
wait,
Slice of Ghostfire
in that case, it
is a very interesting card, but he had to pay one more and then one more for the ward.
but he didn't though.
But he didn't though, and I think guys are arguing about that.
Okay,
And
that's
we will roll that back.
yikes.
probably.
That was not really well
Yeah.
played because this might result in
Yes.
the Goldfire being countered.
I think there was just a misunderstanding on this side. He can't really play the giver. He has to commit fully. Yes, and that's how they resolved it. Because the Slice of Ghostfire costs just one mana because of multicolored card. Then Talia, so one more mana, and Ward, one more mana.
Sure. Yeah, pretty benevolent to get
Yeah.
it back as Jakub, but yeah, here we are.
Well, it's information he showed he should not have been.
Well, he let the Ghostfire resolved and cast another spell, so...
Well, I think he acted a little too quickly.
Yep. So,
But fortunately, there was no need to call a judge. It was easy to resolve. That's very nice to see. But still, there is no big change on the side of Jakub, honestly. Pippin is gone, but that's it. That was the whole turn.
another legendary card.
Yeah, Odawara and Yoshimaru is just growing and hitting. He's biting his opponent. Now Jakub is going down to 11
The other
life.
creatures are scared of Talia.
Yeah, they should be, but you can see that Martin has got 4 mana open, and he can just keep up interaction, counter spells, and other things.
Yeah, but
Or he
it
could
thinks
potentially develop his own world.
sounds-
Dark Confidence.
He's playing.
That's a good old magic card, I must say.
Yeah,
Good old Bob.
makes sense if your curve is low enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't include him in, for example, Slime Food that often because you have those big cycling cars, etc.
Right.
And you can hurt yourself.
Definitely. And also on turn 2 you want to play Slime Food. But in this case, you can easily play this on turn 2 and just get more advantage and just enjoy your free cards.
Especially if you play this more tempo-y kind of Yoshimaru deck.
Absolutely.
The card advantage is really nice.
You really need it, actually. You really need it. That's the most common way you lose. You just run out of gas. You just have nothing else to play. So Dark Confidant is a nice choice. And that's the option Martin got from playing Silas as his partner to Yoshimaru, instead of being more traditional and going with Bruce, which is interesting to see. Even the Bowmaster is very
I
cool
would
with
use this segue just to say I am sad that the Vial Smasher is still banned because that would be a really interesting choice.
You're
having
right.
Yoshimaru as a Mardu variant.
You're right. Yoshimaru
Just to
with
have
Wild-
the Vial Smasher in the command zone. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be played maybe at all.
As we were saying with Caracas, pretty please, rules committee, unban it. One condition, only in command zone. Thank you.
Okay, so you got Caracas and
Yeah,
I got Nadu.
or you can just give this Wild Smasher partner.
Aye.
It would be okay. Now,
Yoshimaru for 3 mana got dazed.
that is brutal, especially because Jakub had the mana. He was just hungry, and he
He
wanted
didn't play
to,
the land beforehand.
because he wanted to get the 1/1 counter on Yoshimaru and then play Giver.
Yes, that's true.
Now there was also something with Brazen Borrower.
No, that was revealed as a Dark Confidant
Yeah,
trigger.
okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Now,
Dark
I think that
Confidant
Martin
3.
has a lot of
Dark-
options.
the Present Borrower is also
Yeah.
nice card
He can just bounce Talia and swing to town.
with everything.
But, well, I'm not sure if he wants to, but he can try to threaten a lot of damage. And we don't really know what else he'll play. He might even put up another creature.
Jakub is in 11, which is still not far from dying.
He's
territory.
not really dead, but he's getting very close.
K9.
Now, that's the K9, that's the robotic Doggo, yeah.
Doctor Who Universe Beyond card.
Yeah, I think that's the only card I'm sad about that I can't really play
blue.
in my Bruce
It is a one
version.
drop.
Yeah,
It protects your commander and it can give him unblockable.
yeah, absolutely,
All
absolutely.
3 things incredible and
It's-
maybe the difference or the reason why to play.
I think we can agree it's a dog mom.
Yep. It is
It's
kind
a
of
dog
a dog
mom.
mom, yes.
Yeah, it's a dog mom, and she protects, but she also attacks.
Not sure if it's Doctor Who correct lore.
I'm not really sure. I think I got only through like 6 episodes, so
Oh.
I haven't really seen a lot of that. But we can definitely see that Yoshimaru is growing very rapidly and becoming quite a big boy.
Swinging along with maybe something else, but not.
He can just go in the
Talia
solo.
is still
Yeah.
too scary to handle.
Giver
for
is
other
still
creatures.
summon sicked, so it can't really give protection. So this attack is just free
That
fight
is
damage.
maybe an argument for Brazen borrowing Talia now.
Could be, and it is.
Yep.
And he has to pay one more because of the Talia attacks. So Brazen Borrower goes on an adventure. It's still an option.
City of Brass Pinks.
Okay, so there are more creatures actually going to swing. Okay, so the tab was just preemptive. Just the Yoshimaru was just getting ready.
If it was communicated clearly,
Yeah,
then
I believe I believe they communicated that quite well.
Yeah.
It was just getting ready.
Little
Yeah?
obvious because he wasn't too excited to
Right,
go out.
right.
Like
The
dogs
dog
are.
needed some friends.
Yeah.
Now there was a big swing. And yes, the Bowmaster was blocked by Giver, and now
But-
Jakub is at Razor's edge.
The damage that went through definitely justified losing the Bowmaster.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
Now we have Arena of Glory. I'm not sure how much work can this
this
land
is
do.
Yoshimaru recast for 5 mana with haste. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, it would be like a lot,
And with protection.
very much a swag play, but I'm not sure if it's a good play.
I don't think there is a way back.
There is a Flash, which is a nice option.
Kill stuff, gain life.
Yeah, it can't really kill Yoshimaru because it's too big, but it can gain 3 and also negate some of the incoming damage.
But still not developing the board enough.
Still not enough.
Got confidence.
And there is
in
Natalia coming
grinding more and more value over time.
Absolutely.
Yoshimaru grows bigger and bigger over time. This is just one small piece of the puzzle solved by
Yeah,
Jakub.
and Dark Confidant revealed Command Tower, so no damage taken on Martin's side.
Certainly no legendary land again.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't really think he's too scared. Although one more legendary
We got Arena of Glory.
should not have entered tapped. Thank you
Okay,
very
wow.
much, chat. I'm not sure if we can return it. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nemesis. Thank you very much for
Would be
noticing.
Judge call. I think we should go.
Should we?
Yep.
Yeah.
And stop them. That. Oh. Okay. That happened. And it changes the game quite tremendously. So. Wow, this is great. Let's see what judges can do about it.
Okay, so there's been a resolution for that. We made a quick judge call. Basically, there were so many things that happened, and also Martin started his turn, so there was no way to roll it back. So both players got a warning.
Yeah, and situation stays as it is.
Yeah, it stays as it is, though a little bit advantageous for Jakub, of course, but I'm not really sure, now from the commentary viewpoint,
Yeah,
if
no
it
judgment.
will change much. Because when we go back to this, I don't really see a lot of options for for Jakub to actually do something about it.
The Flage just
Even though,
dealt with one card.
yeah, I think there is still probably just a scoop on Jakub's side. Looks like it.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like scoop on Jakub's side because Yoshimaru will just swing through and a lot of things. There was also Rona played, just to highlight the card. It is a very spicy and very interesting card that I love, honestly. The flip one from Dominaria United, I believe.
An all-star in the previous standard format.
Yes, absolutely. In the standard legend Rona,
Works very well with legendary cards,
Absolutely.
legendary spells, so it has a
I think it's
nice
Herald of Invasion. I think it's Rona Herald of Invasion. We will get the card here.
This is 1/1, I believe, right?
Yes, it is 1-1 because now Jacob could not really hold his own, even with the misplay that happened. Martin was just in the lead in this situation. There was nothing else that could have been done.
Since the Bowmasters, the game went wrong.
Yeah,
from the Jakub.
absolutely.
From
Like
the
the
very
Orcish
start.
Bowmasters killing Yoshimaru because it's not only the kill of the Yoshimaru, but it's also two bodies on board. Well, yes, they could not attack right away due
One
to
once to Talia.
Yeah, that was the
Talia.
Talia. It's
Hold
true.
the fort against all those
Yeah,
pesky.
but still, there was just so much. It's true. It's true. The Talia really stopped that, but the fact that Yoshimaru got killed
Yep.
and also the board was developed was very, very important for Martin.
Well, we see both games. Once when the Jakub went with the overwhelming advantage right from the start, had the two removal spells. Martin didn't really develop his board, and we saw it like mirrored in the second game when the Martin had all the answers and Jakub just couldn't get the game on. You think that this is like a common side in the Yoshimaru mirrors? They are that one-sided. We saw in the Marchesa Aminato matchup that we had a lot of back and forth. There are no board wipes.
Absolutely, there are no board wipes, and if you are able to answer if you are able to actually answer your opponent's Yoshimaru before your own Yoshimaru dies, or even your own does not die, you are in such a good spot because you get like a 3-3, 4-4, or 5-5. It just grows, and they have to develop again.
Tough situation indeed.
It's very tough situation, and both players are really both of the decks are built around Yoshimaru.
Yeah, and so you don't have it. You are very far behind.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I love the fact, well, especially on the side of Jakub, I think I did not really see much of blue, I must say. Basically, the
That's
deck.
correct.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything blue either.
that's right. Like the deck basically seems to be mainly just Bruce Yoshimaru.
Yeah.
But there is Kraum for maybe some extra late game value if you really want to choose it.
Maybe he wants Kraum in the comments and cast it sometime. No?
Could be.
No, but really, as you said, as we talked before with the Tanya variant with green, there is an argument for having 3 colors. To have all different legends that a 2-color variant doesn't have, and more of the legendary lands that are just so much powerful. And usual play turn 1 Yoshimaru again.
And just to put or give this information to all of our viewers, the advantage of starting in Yoshimaru Mirror is such a great deal. We basically saw both games being not just softly won, but quite harshly won by those who started. Basically, the starting player in both games kind of dominated the whole event.
But I would argue that in turn game one, the Jakub didn't have overwhelming.
Yes, it was not
powerful,
explosive start. You're right.
Start, but rather had better answers.
Yes.
Which is not really decided on if you start or not.
That's true. That's true. You're absolutely right.
But I definitely agree that starting player has
Yeah.
a huge advantage.
The thing is, and you have the starting opportunity on turn 2 answer opponent's Yoshimaru.
Yes.
They are tapped out. It's just
You play Yoshimaru.
Yeah.
They play Yoshimaru.
And you just want
have
to-
one mana
Absolutely.
legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary land, a removal spell, and it's game over almost.
exactly, and it's a crazy how close can this come to it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
About
Now, there was a question about a French ban list. Basically, yes. This the thing that we call, the French commander, the dual commander. It's if you Google dual commander ban list, you will find that.
MTCDC
Yeah,
info. .info.
it's absolutely that. Now, we've seen a legendary land. We've seen Enganjo, the old one.
Yes.
And counter on Yoshimaru. Now, Selfless Savior, and it looks like Mother of Runes.
It is
in
Mother of
some
Runes.
kind of special arts.
So mommy and a daddy. Are
Yeah,
both
there is
present.
mommy and a daddy, and I think that the Yoshimaru on Jakub's side will be very much able to survive anything thrown his way.
Yes, to answer the chat, there will be deck list on the Antigito page, definitely.
Yeah.
In the dual commander section.
Yeah, at least for the finalists and final top 16, 100%. I'm not sure about all the players.
So now Jakub doesn't have a really a powerful aggressive start, but at least did one legendary land, right?
There is a lot of
protection.
Absolutely.
I don't know if the game can be won only by protection alone, but maybe it can work, considering the Martin's list is the most interactive one.
Now, there is a new assassin. There is a new assassin from Assassin's Creed that Jakub is reading.
Bashim, I believe.
If I remember correctly, he's worded so that whenever you play whenever he deals combat damage to...
Whenever you play historic spell, you draw a card. Once Panther, Bashim. It's
Bashim.
yeah, and when it hits player or attacks, you put
I think
plus
on
1%
hit.
count.
I think on hit it gets a counter,
Yep.
and on cast of a historic spell you draw a card, which is a very nice thing.
As I know, the Premodern was.
It was yesterday. Yeah, you can find of the pre-modern coverage was yesterday. You can find the whole tournaments uploaded on YouTube. Now today we have the dual commander, basically our Czech championship. Now another legendary land. What a lovely thing to see for
Kinga.
Yoshimaru. Now this one is actually relevant because it can
no
give
blue
first
lands,
strike.
right? Yes,
Still
no blue lands.
no blue lands, and there is the Dogo number 2.
Well, both of those legendary lands, Eiganjo is really useful as well.
Absolutely.
Especially if you get into those trades with creatures, protecting your Yoshimaru from being killed by
Yes.
the such creature or some other combat damage, champ block or chain block, for example, can be really relevant. And as is it's a land, as you have figured out yet, the lands are not really the main focus on the player's radar, so they
Absolutely.
can forget about them
That's
being
a
hidden.
very common thing. I'm not saying I'm very proud to admit, but sometimes I really want some interactions based on the fact that my opponents forgot that Enganjo actually has a relevant activated ability.
Yes. On the
Now
Martin
there
side,
is Pippin for the 3rd time. He's
Yeah.
really coming in handy.
the deck is just full of Pippins.
Yeah,
it seems.
full of moms, full of Pippins.
Bashin
That's
draws
right.
card.
Which is a nice value, honestly.
And the land for a turn was Dol Amrod, which I don't know which legendary. It is Minamo.
I think it should
It
be
is
Minamo. It looks like
Minamo,
Minamo.
Hunter's Edge, untapping blue.
Yeah, untapping legendary creatures, which also not super important, but still a legendary land nonetheless.
I would say it is very important, especially if your opponent doesn't really, again, have it in check. Having to attack with your Yoshimaru,
That's true.
untap it, and surprise blocking something,
Yeah.
it can turn the
You
game
can be
around.
very tricky, and now we can see how quickly
K9.
is the board on Martin's side growing.
The Bashin triggered, and not only that he draw a card, but also make Bashin unblockable.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. So
Bashin
he'll just attack for free and get a counter and grow
hits
once again.
unmolested. I don't know if Martin has 12 life. How it came out. Yoshimaru attacked
There
a few
was attack
times.
with Yoshimaru and no
Yes.
blocks.
Okay.
Okay, so Martin is quite low, but you can see that the board has been built on both sides. But don't forget that there is the option for Martin to just attack with Leia and just blink the Yoshimaru away.
Yes.
And basically just get rid of all of those counters.
Cause K9 just worth one. Pippin not online yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
You can reset it.
Martin's big advantage is that Yoshimaru is now not the only main point of his
Absolutely.
board presence. The machine is also really nice, drawing extra
Exactly,
card each turn.
exactly.
And hitting from unblockable damage.
And very soon Pippin will be a problem because once Pippin is up, there will be no way to interact with a lot of cards on Martin's side, or at least it will be 2 for 1.
It can bait the reaction for the failure trigger
Good.
that would result in him not being able to block, for example. But still, I think Martin has still better board presence.
Now here is Goro Goro coming to town.
As I see those board states now, I think the game is about to be decided who can put through the more damage.
Absolutely.
There is no just kill your opponent's commander, grinding for value.
Yes.
This is a pure race because basically both players have their commander virtually unblockable or very hard to block, considering Jakub has protection from Mother of Runes, the Martin has K9,
and Pippin in a moment active.
Yes,
So
both.
there is a lot of blockage, sort of, in a way. But Thalia
dogs go in.
That's right, the dog is attacking, and exactly as we predicted, it will blink Yoshimaru to reset it.
Yes.
So it will be exiled.
The trigger was paid
Yeah.
from Shinka, so no first strike.
No first
That
strike,
would
but I
be-
think that's not super important. The dog
well,
is
you have,
2-2.
but you have Philia that attacks, and that way it can be traded.
That's right, but trading failure for Pippin, I think it's
There is Mother of Runes online.
That's true.
Okay.
Even if I think it's quite a favorable trade, even without just any activation of anything. I think
Then
getting
I
rid
think-
of Pippin is very important. In
I
this
think
case.
I kind of jinxed Martin because now suddenly the situations look heavily for favor towards Jakub.
Yeah, like
I just
Jakub
said
is still
the-
in a nice situation, honestly.
And also life total, because in a game of racing, more life you have, the better you are.
Absolutely. Like even though Martin can potentially every single turn attack with unblockable Basim, which will
Six not
grow.
enough. It
It's
grows so
slow.
slower.
It's
than,
slow. It's not
opponent's
enough.
Yoshimaru. And if Felia attacks this combat, it can reset him as well.
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like
Ooh.
and it seems like Martin just took all the damage.
This is game 3.
This looks very dire for Martin on his side.
Yep, went to 5.
So full untap.
Let's see if
Now
I
we will
can
see if there is
see
any option.
anything good.
Wrath of the Skies. Anyone?
Oh, we already established that's not going to
Well,
happen.
honestly, it would not help because there is the benevolent bodyguard, or how
The
it's called.
bodyguard gains not indestructible, the protection.
That's right.
the
So it would
protection.
not help. You're right. There are 2 protection, but not indestructible. Okay, it would not really help.
But if you, and this is also the situation why the board wipes are not included in the aggressive decks.
Absolutely.
Because you spend the resources, you spend the card to wipe everything clear.
Yeah.
It's a symmetrical effect if you don't have anything to abuse it really.
Yeah.
And your opponent gets their free turn.
Absolutely.
and you are still behind.
And now there is just Dark Confidant on the side of Martin.
One mana left.
I'm not really sure if it helps anything.
Not that. Other than the Dark Confidant can take those last precious life away.
Yeah, well, yeah, he could just die to his own card.
Usually,
I think he would just prefer to block with that.
it is a champ blocker, I know.
Absolutely.
But the trouble is that Martin doesn't missed his land drop.
Notably, yes, Martin is really low on lands, and
Let's
he has
see
only
if this
one.
Tundra remaining includes something that can change
And honestly,
the tide somehow.
what can it do? Because on Jakub's side, you can see 2 creatures that can just protect.
Yeah, removals not
Yeah.
enough.
There's
Even a Ganja plate.
Another counter on Yoshimaru.
Not
Well,
sure if that was necessary, because
maybe for the
is...
man.
Yeah, let's see if something gets played.
We will see.
Oh, 5 mana tap.
That's gonna
Dragon?
be something big.
Can it be the red dragon?
Not yet. It has to be attacking.
Okay.
If it's headliner Scarlet, I think we are done for. And it
is almost a
another
headliner
one.
Scarlet.
Yes, it's
Galadriel's gift.
Galadriel's gifts.
It is
Fantastic creature.
opponent,
card.
you are dead written all over.
Basically phases out all because he played it with kicker.
Overload, I believe.
I think it's kicker. This is kicker. The spell has got kicker.
Sorry
And,
about that.
Galadriel gift, you said?
Yeah. I'm talking overload because it for 1 mana it phases 1 creature, and for 3 mana it phases everything. So
Yeah, but it's kicker.
yeah.
But it does work like that.
Okay, looks like it's
Looks
GG.
like it's just the end.
But
and
then, so the Martin's deck included some
Yeah,
format,
it's
and he didn't have the mana. He has.
true.
He is showing right now. He
That
has
he-
a tap land.
that's
Oh my
crazy.
God,
And
so
it's
okay.
the end. It's
Jakub Pečík
interesting game.
wins the very exhilarating.
It was interesting.
Yoshimaru
The
matchup.
last game was really fantastic.
Wow.
Honestly, like the first match and the the first game, the second game was very fine and very interesting, but in also very quick, just one-sided. But this last one was super interesting.
Okay, Jiří will catch Martin. Sorry, not the Jakub for possible interview. If he can do that, that would be nice. Wow, the players themselves are all over the game. How close and how really interesting it was, right to the last moment. So give us a minute here.
Okay, so I have the confirmation that just in a few moments we will get the winner of this round, Jakub, to come here for an interview, and we will just ask him. Well, I personally will try to ask a little more as a Yoshimaru enjoyer to get his take on the whole situation and on everything. Yeah, we can see very good on our players to put in the results into companions. Do that, please. Your organizers are going to love you.
Kudos for that.
Yeah, I will just grab Jakub and come here.
So, hello?
Right. Can you have a scene? All right, yeah. We'll just come to you.
Hello?
just a
Okay,
little
okay,
bit.
okay.
All right, Jacob, first of all, congratulations on winning. Great
thank
game.
you, thank you.
I like that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, even though we had just a little mishap.
Yeah,
with the play.
there was a misplay. I'm really sorry for that.
Can happen. But honestly, as you were talking about that, even though it happened, there was probably no no difference on the result of the match.
Oh, probably, but whatever. Just when the judge came, I was just okay.
Yeah.
I will concede it because I failed, and then I was thinking, oh, yeah, I will do it because.
it can happen, you know.
Yeah.
And the day will be longer and longer. So
Yeah, it will
hopefully, keep those wits and be ready for the finals as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Well, what about the game one? We saw
Okay.
that you had prepared. If you recall correctly, you had the 2 attempts at killing Martin's Yoshimaru. The second removal went through, and you just put so much pressure that you couldn't handle it.
No.
Any comments on the first game?
Well, this match was so intense. You're just trying to remember what happened in the first game. But it was like really pressurizing. I was happy with drawing that Adeline, which created that one token, which go directly to the
Finally
Teferi.
some pressure, right? Because
Yeah.
You had just
Before
the
that-
Yoshimaru and Goro. That was it.
Yeah. And I was like, before I draw the Adeline, I was like thinking that I will keep Teferi B and
Yeah.
go for head. But when I drew that Adeline, it was like, okay, this is the one nice damage that can go to the Teferi.
Honestly, it was fantastic. Like, and the fun thing was for us, at least for watching, the first game was won by the first player, like the starting player. The
Yeah.
second game was kind of the same. I'm not saying the first game was a complete beatdown, but still.
yeah, the second game you mulliganed to 6, I believe. Right?
I believe so.
I believe
yes.
both players did.
Both players,
we talk about that.
Again.
Okay, so have you thought yourself that you are in the losing position from the very start? Because
That was the Bowmaster on turn 2.
Yeah.
Bowmaster was nice. It killed Yoshimaru, but I knew that with Discord combination he will probably have some spells. So I was pretty happy with the Talia.
Talia was very nice. Also as a blocker, right?
Yeah, it's
Just
a really
kind of
really good blocker and making more expensive all the.
slightly slowed you down with the Ghost Fire Slice.
Yeah,
true.
but I know okay, it's one card in my hand, but probably 3 maybe cards in his hand.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So yeah, then came some wards into it, and it started to be even
Yeah,
more complicated.
It got
Showed
a
himself
little
in
messy.
all
Yeah, that's when the game started to be messy.
Yeah, you're
The
right.
Pippin, it's already a card you are playing yourself, right?
No, because
Okay.
basically this deck is like Boros with mental misstep.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that.
We had no time to really check your deck list. If you have some other blue cards,
Well, basically there is still Volcanic Island. In the case that I would want to play Crown.
Yeah.
So I can fetch into Volcanic Island and play Crown, because basically if I have Volcanic Island and I get Blood Moon, it's okay, nothing happens. So I replaced one mountain by Volcanic Island. Because sometimes it can happen that you start with Gemstone Cavern, then opponent is starting, so you have it already on the play. You put second land and you go with some 2 mana haste creature, and there is no space for a dog anymore.
Yeah.
So you can turn 4 fetch for Volcanic Island and go
Absolutely.
with Crown.
about the crown, have you cast it today?
One today, no. Oh my God, no.
In my life, yes.
Once.
Okay.
Once, and this was because of Curse of Silence first turn for the dog. So
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Still, you have the option, right?
yeah, that's option.
And it does not really restrict you in any way. So
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And also,
Blue Magus make it a little bit worse.
Yeah.
And until that, there was only Blue Moon or
Red Moon.
So
Right.
it was okay. You turn my duel
Yeah.
into mountain, which I replaced for that's fine.
and the game 3 really
It was
back
great.
and forth. Interesting.
Yeah.
We both have a lot of protection for Yoshimaru. So,
Yes.
The bodyguard and
yeah.
Mother of Runes on your side,
Yeah.
and the K9 and the Pippin on Martin's side,
Yeah.
and the Faria. Did it work, right?
Yeah,
The
that
Thalia is great.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
just did a lot.
yeah, like putting down like 4 counters from Yoshimaru, I guess.
Yoshimaru's best
Nice.
friends. If you
Yeah,
have
just
it on
2
your side.
Jogos going into town, just destroying everything. I also seen your opponent thinking about trading the Pippin for a moment.
Yeah. The
Would you be
trading.
happy with the trade?
Well, it would be probably no trade because I will protect Feli
With
with Mother of Runes,
Right.
yes.
We are thinking about it. Okay, there is the option to protect it, but do you want to keep the protection maybe?
No, I was like personal pick for
Yeah, this, you were decided.
Decided, yeah, I was
Right,
decided
You made the
that-
decision, right?
that yeah, if he block, I will definitely do
Because-
the protection because I still have bodyguard, so
Right.
probably okay. I can maybe get some removals because I like will you be using one protection, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe, but whatever. It was like definitely Pippin will be away. That's really good
Yeah.
for me. And Fairy's still on the battlefield, which is also really good
Yeah,
for me because
still getting away those blockers. It's a
yeah,
fantastic card.
yeah. And then the draw of Guardian's Dismissal. It was
Yeah.
like,
The deck
okay.
you have today, was it the first choice? What you are going to bring on this event? Or have you been thinking
Yeah, I
other
like
options?
knew that I will play this.
Yes, okay.
It's
So what's your
fantastic.
score for now?
Like 5-0.
5-0 is fantastic.
Okay.
We were not sure. We were not giving the full information. We were
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
certain if it was 3-1 or 4-0. So you're a 5-0 now. That's fantastic.
5-0 then.
That's nice to just. We'll look forward to see you in the top 16, hopefully in the finals.
Yeah.
And we wish you the best of luck in the two matches that are coming up.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck. Jakub.
Congratulations.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck.
Good
and
luck.
good job with like commenting and interviewing
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
and judging.
And it was the chat. It was the
It was the chat.
that
Okay,
was
thanks
best.
to the guys on the chat.
Yeah, thanks to the chat. You notice everything. Thank you very much. We will take a short break and then visit you and come back to you with coverage of the next 6 rounds. See you in a couple of minutes.
See you.
Bye for now.